Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Ephesians 5:25. I was waiting for my wife. We were supposed to meet a retired priest and his wife at a restaurant after her work. However, my wife was running late. The rush to get to the appointment, along with the scorching California sun, had annoyed me. When my wife finally got into the car, I began to complain and argue, even driving with irritation, until finally, we arrived at the meeting place. I had many questions in mind. I wanted to learn more about the experiences and knowledge of this man. When we entered the restaurant, I realized that the priest's wife had many disabilities. She had almost lost her vision, needed a dialysis machine, had mobility issues, and yet this retired elderly priest was taking excellent care of her. He was like a nurse to his wife, caring for her with great love. He served her affectionately, even during the short time we were in the restaurant. It was evident how attentive he was to his wife, without any complaints or protests. It was as if this retired priest was not retired at all. He preached through his life. He taught many lessons to others. On the way back, I apologized to my wife. When I compared my behavior with that priest, I felt ashamed of myself. I had heard about this priest's management and capabilities, but that day I realized that something deeper was hidden within him. Obedience and respect for the Word of God. In the 5th chapter of Paul's letter to the Ephesians, men of God are taught as follows: Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. It is also stated in the first letter of Peter, Husbands, in the same way be considerate as you live with your wives, and treat them with respect as the weaker partner and as heirs with you of the gracious gift of life, so that nothing will hinder your prayers. 3-7. Sometimes Christian men hide behind a one-dimensional interpretation of Christian teachings, while the Word of God targets all aspects of our lives. Even behaviors that may be considered very ordinary in our surroundings can hinder our prayers. So we must remember that loving service is our lifelong commitment and we may never retire from it.